Hello everyone and welcome back to Physics with Mr. M. In today's video I would like to discuss with you a common misconception among many students regarding positive and negative acceleration. The misconception is that positive acceleration necessarily means that the object is getting faster, okay, speeding up, and a negative acceleration means that the object is getting slower, it's slowing down. Now, this is not 100% correct. The correction of this misconception would be that when acceleration and velocity have the same sign, meaning plus or minus, the object will go faster, indeed. When acceleration and velocity have opposite signs, one has plus, the other has minus, for instance, the object slows down. It will become quite clear once we jump into some examples coming up now on my next slide. So, to begin with, we will see two examples. In both of these scenarios, the object will be speeding up. Let's look at number one. We start with an object with an initial velocity of 4 meters per second, which then accelerates to a final velocity of 10 meters per second. Okay? Now, if you want to calculate acceleration, you need delta V, the change in velocity, okay? As we defined it in our previous video. If you haven't watched it, make sure you go and you check that video where we break down the concept of acceleration in physics. So, delta V is defined as final minus initial velocity 10 minus 4. This gives us 6, which is a positive number. Acceleration is the ratio of delta V over delta t, and since delta V is positive and delta t cannot be negative, acceleration will also be positive. So positive acceleration, and we see that the object is indeed speeding up. Positive acceleration, positive velocity, the object is speeding up. Now, on the other scenario, we have an initial velocity of minus 4 meters per second and a final velocity of minus 10. Let's calculate the change in velocity again as final minus initial. Minus 10 minus minus 4. What's the brackets here? It's minus 4. This will give us minus 10 plus 4, which is minus 6, and that's a negative. Since delta V is negative, it means that acceleration will also be negative. What's this now? Negative acceleration, and someone would have said it's slowing down. No, but it went from minus 4 meters per second to minus 10 meters per second. So the velocity has increased, but the minus is just there to show you the direction, okay? So the second object compared to the first one is simply moving in different directions, but the velocity is increasing, okay? So the object in the second scenario is indeed speeding up, but it happens to have a negative acceleration. Why? Because the velocities are negative. So same sign in the velocities as with the acceleration, and the object is speeding up, okay? And that's a clear example. Now, let's see two scenarios where the object will be slowing down. We start with an initial velocity of 4 meters per second and the final velocity of 2 meters per second. Delta V is going to be 2 minus 4, which gives us minus 2, and that's a negative delta V. Therefore, acceleration will also be negative. So, negative acceleration with positive velocities, okay, this means that the object will slow down. And actually, this example is easy for most of us to understand. It went from 4 meters per second to 2 meters per second, okay? So it did slow down, and the acceleration is negative, okay? But negative acceleration with positive velocities gives you slow down on the object. Now, the second scenario where we have a minus 5 meters per second initial velocity and a minus 3 meters per second as a final velocity. Delta V is going to be minus 3 minus 5. What's this? So it's minus 3 plus 5, which gives you 2, and that's a positive number. Therefore, acceleration will also be positive. And what's this? Positive acceleration, and someone would have said, oh, it speeds up, but no, it went from minus 5 to -3, it has slowed down. So when the velocity and the acceleration have opposite signs, minus and plus, the object is slowing down. Okay, so this is what I really wanted to clarify with most of you. So I will bring you back to my initial slide. Okay, and this is the misconception that you need to clarify. Okay, and move for more into this direction of the correction. Okay, where you just need to keep in mind the sign of the acceleration and of the velocities. And as you can see, by definition, just by calculating the delta v, this is what basically tells us what's happening to acceleration and therefore speeding up or slowing down. Okay, so this is a quite common misconception among most of our high school students. So I would like you to have it there. Hopefully it clarifies this for you. And if you think this has been beneficial for you, make sure you like the video and share it with your friends. Till next time.